Yo guys, it's razman here, and I haven't seen you in a long time. Of course, you can probably guess I have been studying my GCSEs, which is actually what this video is based on. Now, I'm determined to make this video as short as possible, but I have got a lot to go through. This video is basically just my opinion on school in general now that I've finished it, and just how corrupt I think it is, and just everything that's wrong with with a lot of things. I've split this video up into categories. I've already recorded it once and spent 40 minutes doing it and just looked at it and thought, no, it's wrong. I need to get my my viewpoints across in a very clear manner. I'm going to be talking about my experiences within this video, as well as talking about just school in general. So these are the categories that I've split this video down into. The prioritisation of school, the justice system, the types of teachers, the content within subjects, the exams, and the control. And then obviously I'll go over my experiences and how, because a lot of these categories are going to overlap and link, which obviously I'll talk about. First, I want to show you a quote that I found on a forum site called Yahoo Answers, where you just write random questions and obviously random people answer. Because I've just found this quote and it just sums everything up, what I'm trying to say in this video, but just in a few lines. 11 to 16-year-olds get up every morning at the same time, despite human biology says that it's bad for them. We are taught Shakespeare in English, whatever that is, in maths, cells in a leaf in science, which links back to this quote. I'm sure we've all seen this quote on Facebook. We are told at age 13 to pick our GCSE options, despite the vast majority of us not knowing what the hell we want to do. We have more pressure than Stonehenge put on our shoulders, despite mental health and suicide rates going through the roof. We are made to think that the above grades determine the rest of our life. We are all treated the same, even though we are all different. There are no qualifications for creativity or good ideas. We arrive at 8:30 and leave at 3 o'clock because the law says so. We can't escape. We respond to the sound of bells and eat at the same time. Prison? We come here for 13 years. Is it worth it? I just thought that was really powerful, because that's what I'm trying to get across in this video. If there's anything in this video that you disagree with or want to challenge me with, put it in the comments down below. I'm happy to be persuaded by anybody's viewpoint if it makes logical sense in my mind. So feel free to rip me apart in the comments. But I'm hoping we can have like a healthy debate about this, if there needs to be a debate. This is just my opinion and my experiences with the education system. Okay, so the first bit, the prioritisation. When we come to school, we obviously wear a uniform. Now, I agree with uniform. There's lots of people saying, you know, they disagree with it. I agree with it. I agree with uniform. I think it's good to have a uniform. It does look smart, and I think it's easier when you're like, you know, doing the laundry and stuff, because you've only got to wash like, you know, one uniform rather than you keep finding something to wear every day, and obviously wearing out all your clothes and stuff. So I agree with uniform, but just the prioritisation of uniform over absolutely anything else, over the work, over any other problems or issues you may have, it's just stupid. When I first came to school, my uniform was all correct, but I got told I had trainery type shoes. Now, they were just black shoes from Clark's, not sponsored, but they were just normal shoes, and there was nothing wrong with them whatsoever. But I got told they were trainery type, and obviously got told to change them. I didn't, obviously, I fought it, and a lot of other people have been told to change the uniform as well. But it's not just about changing the uniform. Obviously, if you rock up in Nikes and you know everything else, then fair enough. It doesn't look good when everybody else is wearing the correct uniform. However, I think when they're nitpicking on things like when you just wear a pair of shoes for one day because your others are broken, or why you go and get a new pair or whatever, I think that's really bad. You know, you have to go and get a note or something like that. It's so pathetic. And when you're walking around school, everybody's literally they scan you, like they just scan every student as they walk past, and it's just so, why do that? Just the importance that they find in uniform over any other subject is just beyond me. Okay, the work over personal problems and issues. So as you're sat in a classroom, the only way I can explain this is that you've got person A who is getting really good grades at the minute and being congratulated, but they have no problems in life, everything's going well for them, they're quite wealthy, and everything's going spick and span. And then you've got person B who's just had some really bad issues in life. You know, maybe they've just lost a loved one or lost a pet. I mean, you know, whatever's gone off in their life, or did some, I don't know. But these two people are going to be judged exactly the same, and therefore person B is going to be a lot more slower at doing their work, and they're not going to volunteer as much and stuff like that. But they're going to be punished for that, even though obviously the teacher's not even going to take into account of there may be something wrong. But that person's going to then be punished for, and for what for? This is the person that needs to be punished the least, that needs to be given support. But do we offer that? No, we do not. It stinks. It's absolutely awful. But yeah, that's the prioritisation. Everything's prioritised wrong. School and the education system just need to get their priorities right. The next subject is the justice system. Now, off the bat, it's one way. It's just a one-way justice system, meaning that teachers can do whatever they want to you, give you detention, shout at you, whatever, but you can't do anything back at them. You can't tell them when they're wrong, or if they accuse you of something you haven't done. You can't do anything, because the more you speak, the more you're just going to get into trouble, which is stupid. The only real way to get in, you know, on top of issues like that is to bring your parents in which teachers, a lot of teachers anyway, will really be scared when you get your teacher, and especially if it's like your Uncle Jim who's got muscles, and you know, they'll be scared of him. Okay, so overkill punishment for small issues. So again, I've got another experience about this which I'll get onto later, but when you do something that's just, they punish you because it's like you're making the school look bad rather than you're actually doing anything wrong, or you've just done something minorly wrong, like swearing, and you know that somebody's out there like smoking or something like that, and you're like, well, why am I being picked on, when you know that there's people that are going to be violent, that are going to be fighting, that are going to be bullying? Why don't you try and get those people rather? I mean, that can actually relate to the justice system in general. Obviously, a lot of people are punished for doing, I don't know, like getting parking tickets or whatever, and then obviously around the corner there's somebody, you know, being beat up, and it's just things like that that really get to me. There's no punishment for teachers' errors, like we've already been over. It's a one-way justice system. You can't really do anything for teachers, which is just so annoying in so many different ways. And obviously the punishments for uniform, which we've already been over. Uniform, just how they can punish you for wearing something that's slightly incorrect, if you might not be wealthy, if you're not coming from a wealthy family, or if you know, somebody might be from a home where the parents just don't really care and they have to take care of themselves all the time, and sometimes they don't have time to go and get all the uniform they need, but they're punished for that. They are punished. The disadvantaged are punished, is the bottom line. Okay, so the types of teachers is the next category. So there's the punish loving, the teacher that just loves to punish everyone. They don't discriminate who they punish, but they just love to get a kick out of giving someone a detention, or shouting at them, or getting them done for something they know they didn't really do. They just love being angry and love punishing kids. And what I always say is, if you don't like kids, don't work in a school. It's just not a good career for you. The teacher's devil. So the person that, and I've been not personally, but I have seen this personally. So it's like when a teacher punishes a specific student where all the time for doing literally nothing, and it's so easy to spot. I don't know if the teachers know that this is really easy to spot, but oh my god, when they're constantly like looking at them all the time and shouting at one person and just picking on everything they do, like why you're holding your pen, or you know, shut up, just shut up. Like, why do you need to be like that? It's just nitpicking because they don't like a certain student, which is just awful. Then there's the overworking and uncaring, like we've already been over with person A and person B. Everybody's just, you know, it's a one-size-fits-all society within school. Just everybody's taught the same thing. We don't get tested on creativity or anything like that. But of course, if people have got issues going on in their own lives, that doesn't get taken into account. We all need to be at the same level because that's how it's meant to be. No, it's not. It's just inhumane, in my opinion. It just makes me feel so angry. The know-it-all, just teachers that are really annoying because they just think they know it all. The world it just turns around them, and really, they're really stupid because they're the ones that think GCSEs determine the rest of your life. come to that later, because they don't. The two-faced teacher, again, I've got another experience with this, with teachers that appears to be nice and appears to help you, not just with work, but with a lot of other issues as well, and then turns out to be an absolute arsehole. That's the only way I can put it, really. Then there is the... Wait for my screen to come back on. There is the blind to reality inhuman robots, is what I've written, because that's the only way I can describe them. It's like they've been programmed. They're not down to earth people. For example, if they like disagree with the school rules, say if they disagree with the uniform rule, for example, that people should be punished, but they have to do it because it's their job. So they're like programmed into thinking that these things are right, and it messes with their brain, and they end up just being this person that they're not meant to be, and they just start telling you to do all the things that they don't even believe in themselves, which is awful. We'll come back to the GCSE thing, where they go, GCSEs determine absolutely everything in the rest of your life. Maybe they don't necessarily believe that, but it's what they're told to say to us. So they're just horrible. They're not down to earth at all. And then there is the people. That's all I've put, the people. Because the people are the types of teachers that are actually nice people, that get on with their job, but are really, really helpful, and the ones that give you a nice smile when you walk in and say good morning and talk to you around school. I don't know, if you see them out and about somewhere, they'll say hello. Just the types of teachers that are down to earth, that aren't programmed, that have their own mind and act on their own thoughts of what they class as right and wrong, and not look at like a judgment system. That's not how it works. They should go off their own initiative and decide what's right and wrong, because at the end of the day, that is what's right and wrong, what you believe in. Okay, the next subject is content within school subjects. Just things like, going back to the quote, English, we learn Shakespeare. Maths, we learn stupid algebra equations. I mean, English language, I think, is the most useful one, because you do actually get taught skills in there, reading and writing skills, which of course you do need. I think that's the only useful subject. Maths, again, is useful, but the things that we learn in maths now just become less and less useful the more you think about it. It's just, why do we need that? Science, now, this is controversial for me. I'm not being biased, because I actually like science. I actually enjoy science, but we don't necessarily need it. So there's no point in learning it unless you want to learn it. So I don't understand why it's a compulsory subject, because it's just, unless you want to go into a job where you need science, I don't really understand why we have to take science. Like, we've come back to the quote where it's about the cells in the leaf. That's what I've written. What's that got to do with anything? History. Now, history is an optional subject which I chose. I regret that heavily, because who cares that Galen's a Greek god of medicine? Who cares that Ibn Sina created the whatever? I don't know. In the history exam, I literally sat there and folded my arms, because I didn't even know what to put. I didn't even open the booklet. I wrote my name and that was it. Just don't see why it's important at all. Now, again, you say, well, don't pick it then, it's an optional subject, but the choices that we had were like history and geography, and I do wish I chose geography, but it's kind of the same with geography. You don't necessarily learn about the countries of the world. It's all about economic disasters and everything else. It's just like, what's that got to do with anything? IT. Now, IT is one of the more creative subjects, because you get to use things like, you get to make websites and Photoshop, and IT is a good qualification to have, because it's vastly used across society for lots of different things. The amount of technology there is nowadays, it's a useful qualification to have. However, the creativity within IT, which again is present with like things like making websites and Photoshop and doing things like that, but that's in the mark scheme, this is worth that much. Your creativity is worth that much. It's all to do with sources tables and test tables, and how good your English is within these test tables, and saying why you chose a certain piece of software. That's not IT. IT is about creativity, about the websites. You got it right the first time. You should have just extended the mark scheme to make it about the actual product itself, and not writing all the dumb shit about it afterwards as the main part of the grade. There's just no point in that. So that's all I've written for the subjects, but of course there's loads of subjects that are useless in school. But again, that's just how it is. Next subject is exams. Now, exams, you're just pressurised by every single teacher to revise. The teachers don't understand that you've got other subjects to revise for, and they only want you to revise for their subject. My advice: take maths and English and revise those to the absolute max. If you think like you've mastered it, it is if you want to do revision. I didn't even do revision. I'm not saying that's the way to go, but I think the way teachers throw it on you and say it's the most important thing in life, just like your GCSEs are the most important thing in life, you're going to basically die if you don't get the right GCSEs, it's just completely wrong, because that's not what happens at all. It's just not the way the world works. You know, the GCSEs are something on a piece of paper. They don't determine the rest of your life, whether teachers tell you that or not. They certainly told us in our school, and it's just not true. Now, of course, if you want to be like something like a doctor, of course, GCSEs and all the other grades that you're going to get are going to be very, very important in getting you into medical school and everything else. But if you want to become a doctor, you will automatically study anyway. You won't have a problem with studying. So it's like if you wanted to become something where you needed grades, you would do it. You wouldn't be complaining about it. You would just do it because you'd want to do it. You would have the motivation to do it. A bit like science, as I said, it was useless earlier. It wouldn't be useless if you was going to be a doctor, but not all of us are going to be doctors, are we? So we shouldn't all have to take it. My point exactly. So the exams, just the timing for the exams, obviously we're all treated the same again. Sometimes you can get extra time if you've got like a condition or something, but it's nothing amazing that you get benefit wise. Just a lack of support from teachers, just overworking you till you're literally having a mental breakdown. Again, just the one size fits all type of thing. We're all treated exactly the same. It's an exam. It doesn't test your intelligence, is what I'm trying to get across. Exams do not test your intelligence. Take Richard Branson, for example. He didn't do well in school. In fact, he was dyslexic, and he was told that he was never going to be. Well, look at him now. I mean, I fucking hate Virgin Media for starters, but just to show how successful he's become. You know, he owns islands. He owns everything, but that just shows that grades don't really mean anything. Not that we're all going to become as rich as Richard Branson, but just showing that success can still be achieved without grades is what I'm trying to get across. Okay, so again, that's exams, and they're all very just mentally straining in general. The one thing I want to get across again is if you've had a really bad patch in your life at exam time, you're made to pay for the exams if you don't turn up for them, for starters, which is just awful. Like, why should we be made to do that? But what if like we're actually just, because they say illness will be taken into account, but if you're ill and don't turn up for an exam. But I think that what that actually means is if you're physically ill and like in hospital, because you have to have doctor's evidence and everything. So it's more complex than that. You can be extremely ill and not have a condition, if you know what I mean. You could just be really ill for a long time, or you could be going through a really rough patch in your life, and you're just made to come in, and you get no benefits whatsoever apart from a few extra marks if you complain that you've had a bad patch in your life at the minute. But you don't get anything in terms of support. It's just non-existent. Okay, so the final subject, the control. Now, this is just basically saying, referring back to the quote from Yahoo, it's where it says, the bottom bit where it says we arrive at 8:30 and leave at 3 o'clock because the law says so. We can't escape. We respond to the sound of bells and we all eat at the same time. Prison? I think, because obviously we don't really think about it as this, but as we come to school, there is no escape. There's just so much control over us when we're in school that it is like a prison, if you like. Of course, everybody comes to school and there's nothing we could do about that. But as you think about it, you know, we're all eating the same dining hall and everything else. It is kind of just shares some similarities. But anyway, that's not really the most relevant point, but I just thought I'd throw it out there because it links to the quote. If you're ill in school, it's really difficult to get out, or in my experiences it was anyway. In our school it was. If you're ill, you go to the nurse, and if you've got a knife wedged in your skull, she'll be like, oh, walk it off, you'll be fine. Not how it works though, is it? Because if you go and complain, you'll go see your PSO, which is like your head of year. So you'll go and see them and they'll be like, oh, come back at lunch if you still don't feel well. You come back at lunch, but yeah, you've only got an hour left now, you can power through, can't you? And that's the way they keep you in school. The control within that, how they keep you in school, is it's just so overpowering. I don't want to rabble on about all this stuff. I'm going to go to my experiences because I feel like these are all the things I've experienced, so I'm going to go to that. So these are my experiences within my school in general. So there's something that happened too recently. I was ill in an exam. I just started like really shaky. I was like, I didn't know what the hell was wrong with me, but I powered through the exam anyway. I felt really ill. I didn't even do much in the exam. It was an English exam, so I felt even worse because I felt like, oh my god, I'm not going to do well. It was a mock exam, so it wasn't too bad. It was in February, the last day before the half term, and I went to my PSO and he was like, oh, don't worry about it, you're going to be fine, it's just because she's stressed out from the exam. I'm 16 years of age, I know when I'm ill. This isn't, they claimed it was adrenaline, right? I can tell the difference between adrenaline and wanting to throw up all over the place, and I was like, look, I need help. And they just like, oh, go and get a drink of water. So anyway, I followed the rules in that aspect because I could have just rung my mum and said, come and pick me up. But I went there first because I thought I am going to follow the rules, you know, at the beginning. If they say no, that's when my mother comes in. As soon as I got out, mother, come and pick me up right away. I went to reception while I waited for her, and the receptionist was like, sorry, what are you waiting for? I just want my mum's picking me up. She went, oh, have you got a note? I said, no. She said, oh, why are you going home then? Because I'm ill. She's like, well, I haven't had an email through. I'm like, I just said, so you need an email to say that I'm ill so I can go home? Anyway, my mum comes in at this point, and she's like, what point do you get parental responsibility to keep my son here when he's ill? He knows when he's ill. He needs to go home if he's ill. He's done the exam. It's not like he was trying to run away or anything. It's like, this is about the control as well. They think they have parental responsibility. I know myself, when I'm ill and I need to go home, they wouldn't let me go home because I didn't follow the procedure properly, because I should have gone and drunk some water. Oh, it makes me so angry. This is why I'm making this video, because I just need to get all the anger out so I can forget about school for the summer. I could go on forever. I'm not going to rabble on though. There's lots of things I could talk about. I'm just going to pick one out. I'm just going to pick an experience out. A couple of, it was like in the beginning of year 10, I think it was. It was to do with YouTube actually. And we made a video on YouTube. We made it at school, just on the field. There was no teachers about or anything, and it was just a bit of a prank video, if you like. But what it captured was actually somebody getting hurt, or if you like, somebody kind of just not getting hurt, but just flipping out. And after it had all calmed down, everything, I said, oh, it was, because obviously it was kind of an unexpected thing, so it was like a genuine reaction from everybody. And I said, oh, is it alright? I said, everybody do it in the video, is it alright if I put this on YouTube? And they said, yeah, it's fine, you know, maybe we can all laugh about it. Anyway, somebody ended up complaining about the video, which is fair enough. I'll take it down. If somebody's offended, that's no problem. I will take my video down. Okay, it's my responsibility to do that, and I will take it down. However, the teacher took it a little bit too far. Got called in, me and some people that weren't even involved in the actual prank itself, so I don't know why they were involved. But I got told that the police had been contacted and they would be either ringing me up or visiting me shortly after I arrived home from school. So I'm like, right, mother, this is what's happened. I'm on the phone to her, and then she comes to pick me up anyway just after this. The police never called, funnily enough, but my head of year did. So this teacher said, so my mum says, so what's all this about the police then? And the head of year said, police? I never mentioned the police. You are a liar, and this is why I hate the certain teachers. I literally hate them. I have more, because hate's a strong word, and I don't really use hate. I use the word dislike or disagree with. I don't use the word hate. I hate people that lie, that made, because obviously I was actually quite scared when she mentioned the police. I was just like, and just overreacting over a small issue. They claimed that the video had gone viral when it had like 20 views, And I was just like, you've just took this completely out of proportion. And now you're lying to my mother because you told her that the police have not been contacted, the police haven't even heard about this, which I did think was a bit. Because when she said the police, I was like, really? But I believed it at the time. I was really scared. Just the way things are dealt with is just awful. Just absolutely awful. And like I say, you can't yell at a teacher, you can't do anything back because you're only going to get yourself in more trouble, which sucks. One-way justice system, it sucks. So that's all I can say for this video. I've been talking for half an hour now. I don't know how long the video is after I've edited it. But again, bottom line is school even educational anymore? Education is more than school. School doesn't teach you anything. If you do bad on your GCSE results, and if you think I'm complaining about my GCSEs, obviously I've already told you that I haven't even had them back yet. That I will be opening them on camera, so get excited for that. But if you don't do well on your GCSEs, don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. And I know there'll be people laughing at me right now on the camera saying, oh, you know, he's doing the inspirational quote and everything. But really, you don't need to worry. I mean, it's alright to feel a bit of disappointment if you genuinely did try hard, but it turns out that you probably won't do as bad as what you think. And if you do, you know, do really bad, as long as you pass maths and English, which you have to now anyway, I think you'll be absolutely fine, because it's not about grades, it's about creativity and ideas. It's not what you know, it's who you know, as my mother says. So just don't worry about it, and just enjoy summer. Don't like dwell on the fact that you've got your results coming up soon. Enjoy it. Enjoy life, because that's what life is. Life isn't school. Life is life. So just enjoy yourselves. Good luck to everybody. And like I say, if you disagree with anything I've said, I'm really happy to be persuaded. If it makes logical sense, just leave your comments down below. I'm happy to hear what everybody's got to say about this. But in my eyes, the education system is corrupt, and it's just wrong in general. There's just so many things wrong with it. But hey ho, there's my opinions on it. At the end of my education, of course, we're not fully finished yet. We have to stay until we're 18 now, which is kind of suckish. But all those going from year 9 into year 10, just make sure you pick my advice would be just make sure you pick your options wisely and think about the options which actually have useful qualifications attached to them, rather than things you're interested in. Or, well, if you're interested in it, then fair enough, but just don't pick things that are useless. Pick things that actually have a good qualification attached to them, which if you was an employer, which you would be happy to see on your CV. But again, don't worry about it. Chill out. It's all happy days. So good luck, everybody. I love you all. Thank you, everybody at my school as well, to making it a very memorable time. It's certainly been a roller coaster. Thank you all. Peace out.